Welcome to Class 3 of Basic Ideas of Science of Mind, 2016 with Barbara Waterhouse. We always begin everything with spiritual mind treatment, so take a deep breath and let it out. Please continue to breathe. And what I know is that there is only one. It doesn't really matter what we call it. It is infinite, absolute, self-existent cause. It is light and love and life. It is peace, power, beauty, joy, love, wisdom. It is all of these things and more. It is that which was before the beginning. That which is all things and yet is beyond all things. That which is everyone and yet is so much more than everyone. And so just allow your concept to go beyond limitation of any descriptive word and feel into this never-ending, never-beginning, always essence of life. And what I know is that that life lives by means of me. That whatever that life is, it is individualized and outpictured as all of us. That we are the points of expression of the divine. It is our only nature. It is our true nature. And knowing that our true essence is spirit, we know that whatever God is, we are. And so right here and right now, we claim and affirm for ourselves the infinite prosperity and abundance of life is our prosperity and abundance now. The vibrant health of all of life is our health now. The love that is spirit is our love now, and the total success and joy of existence is our success and joy right now. It is the truth of us. It is the nature and the essence of us. And so as we claim this and affirm that, we set spiritual law in motion, and the only thing that it can do is outpicture that which we have focused upon. And so we move into gratitude because at some level all of these things are manifest now. We open up our hearts to accept those truths, those wonderful aspects of our lives. And we simply release this treatment because we have done the work. We have known the truth, and truth known demonstrates. And so with great gratitude, we let it go as together we say, and so it is. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hey, Michael. Thank you for all of your work on Saturday. We have a kitchen mostly in the upstairs classroom. Michael and Steve spent Saturday doing that. John Gustafson was here on Friday putting in electric and plumbing, and Sandy and Becca were here a week ago scraping glue. It takes a village to get a kitchen.
That's the word for it.
So 2 weeks ago, we talked about an idea of what is God and who am I. And because we're going to build on that tonight, I'm checking in with you. Hi, Elise.
Hi.
What is your new last name?
Ross.
Ross. Do you want to go by Elise Ross?
I go by Elise Carlson Ross.
Elise Carlson Ross. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Good, good, good. Elise got married over the summer up on the top of Mount Hood in Oregon, right?
Yep.
Yeah, great, great, great. So the question is, what is God? And remember, we talked about this idea that whatever kind of God we have determines what our ability to demonstrate and experience in our life will be. And then the flip side of what is God is who am I? So if we have an outside God that is a mean SOB, and we are a miserable sinner, we're screwed. And we're going to continue to create punishment and limitation and suffering and struggling in our lives. And so what we want to do is we want to shift that into an idea of either that there is a loving presence that supports our every whim, our every desire, that we live in an infinite universe that lifts us up, or we want to move into this idea that we...
Sorry. I don't know what happened.
Someone else was talking. Or we want to move into this idea that we live in a universe of law and order. And so whatever it is we put out, we create in our experience. Different people like to look at it different ways. Two halves of the same thing. Some people who just look at the law aspect have a feeling that ours is a cold teaching. That all we want to do is deal with the law, set the law in motion, manifest what we want in life. And other people who say, well, it's all love and it's all, support and joy, sometimes miss out on the ability to set spiritual law in motion. So we want to have some kind of a balance of that. But either one of those is better than the guy up on the cloud and you being deserving of being punishment. Either one of those is a step up to having a viewpoint of life that works for you. Because whatever God is, whatever God is, God will be to you what you expect God to be. That is really important. Come on in and sit down, Jane. Whatever you expect God to be, God will be. And so if you expect to have an outside God that's going to hurt you, then that's what God will be because of the spiritual law of creation. But if you expect to have something in the universe that loves you and supports you and lifts you, carries you over every obstacle, opens every door, answers every question, that's in particular the kind of deity I like, then that will be that to you. Understanding that you are the one creating that in your life. But anybody who's ever had any kind of a spiritual opening knows that there is a feeling of deep, deep love and deep, deep joy. So you can't just be heady and cold and logical about all of it. It's a total experience when you open to it. And I can tell with certain students, whether they've done their spiritual practice, whether they are meditating or sitting in the silence or just opening or just taking a walk in the woods or whatever it is that allows them to open up, because they get that feeling of the divine. And there is a definite feeling to that. So in your exploration of what is God and who am I, have you had any epiphanies about that?
One and the same.
One and the same, great. Has anybody had their God shift?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And did it make a difference?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've really started thinking of, in terms of benevolence and goodness surrounding me at all times. And it's really changing my focus in the spoken word, how much it's magnified when you declare what it is that you want, and I've been focusing on that as well. But it makes a big difference to know that I live in a benevolent world where all these possibilities exist to me, because I can pull on anything that I want.
Right.
It's all up to me, and so it's a good feeling.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I even take it so far as to look at angels and spirit guides and all of those otherworldly energies or entities that are out for my good. You know, I'll expand my consciousness to accept all the good that I can fathom. And if that means that I have a host of beings that are watching out for me, then I've got that. If I feel like I have an outside deity that is watching me just to get me, then I'll have that. So it's really important to allow yourself to check out where you are with this infinite substance of life, this infinite spirit, and to see how that relates to you. Because as we look at ourselves, if we feel like we are deserving of having all of that support to where whatever it is we want to have happen, we can have happen, then we create that. And if we still feel through some kind of a belief system that there's something wrong with us, that we've done something wrong, that we have some kind of original sin, what a bizarre, sick concept that is. Original sin, that you came in flawed. And in some religions, if you are, as a baby, die before a certain ceremony has been done over you, then you go to some place to hang out infinitely in what they call purgatory. I mean, it's, what? In limbo. It's weird, it's just weird. Instead of this idea that says, we all come from the light, we all come from the love, we're all perfect, whole, and complete, and we are all ageless, timeless beings, even when we come into this physical form, that doesn't determine our true age. We have no age, because we were never born and we cannot die. And so if we leave this physical expression, there's no place to go but from life into greater life. It's a whole different way to look at people than some of the very odd ways that religion has been used to control people. So what I want us to do tonight is to begin to look at some of the ways that we see ourselves. Because as we see ourselves, that's how our life is. So sometimes people come to me and they say, well, I'm in lack, I'm always in lack, I never have enough. And my response is, well, you don't have the value inside of yourself to manifest on the outside. So the work is not to go out and get a third job, it's to establish value. And where is the value when you come to some place that says you're perfect, whole, and complete? Where does that go if it doesn't lift you, if it's not something that you can keep a hold of? What's happening there? And so we start to look at some of the belief systems that we may be holding about who we are, in that how does that support us in our demonstration of heaven on earth, of the best day ever, today's a happy day? Or how does it sabotage that, sometimes on a completely unconscious level? And we have two ways of looking at life. One is the facts of our life, and that's the way most people see life, and one is the truth. And the difference between fact and truth is that the truth never changes. Never changes. Light doesn't stop being light, even in a dark room. When the earth spins away from the sun has not stopped shining just because you can't see it. Abundance doesn't stop being abundance even when we're bouncing checks. Health and wholeness don't stop being the reality of our body even when we have disease that we are demonstrating. Does that make sense? Because this is where some people think we're nuts. When we can look at something and go, you're not real. You're only a fact. And facts they come and they go. Has anyone ever cut themselves? Are you still bleeding? That means that something had to happen so that that cut healed. That there is a natural move towards health and wholeness in our bodies. And sometimes people will come to me with this or that, and I'll look at them and say, you were born to heal. Your body was born to heal. There is a consciousness of health and wholeness that always brings us back. Whether it's a broken leg, it will heal. Even if it's not set, it'll heal. It'll heal crooked, but it'll heal. Every time we've been cut, every time something has happened, that we've been bruised or whatever, the body naturally heals. There is a truth of life. And there are different ways to describe it because we have different words. But those truths never change. Do you know what some of them might be? Some words might be. Love. Love. Does love stop being love just because you're mad? No. Love you didn't make love go away by being mad. What else? Truth. Well, I've got truth at the top.
Energy.
Health.
Energy. Health. Infinite.
Wholeness.
What?
Wholeness.
Wholeness. What are some of the ones that were in the reading?
Peace.
Peace. Does peace go away just because Syria is in war?
No.
Very important point to get.
Life.
Life. Does life go away just because the body dies? No.
Wisdom.
Okay, April's got the book.
It's the part that it really spoke to me, so I actually have it highlighted and underlined.
It's Trillard.
Ah,
It's peace, power, beauty, joy, love, light, wisdom. And then Ernest has creativity and intelligence.
intelligence.
And sometimes it's life, sometimes it's light. But those are synonyms for whatever God is. Because, you know, the word God is a 3-letter word, and sometimes it just makes people crazy. Because they flip into this personality and this deity, this guy with the gold robe and the blessings in one hand and the curses in the other, and it just depends on what kind of a day God's having as to what you get. So we don't want to go there, we want to go to these qualities of spirit. The love that never stops, the energy that is always available to us, the energy that is always creating, that is always moving, the health, the infinite, wholeness, peace, life, wisdom, and any other words that you want to use to try to describe those things that are always there. Why do you think it's important to know the things that never change?
So you know what you can depend on.
Yeah,
So you know what you can depend on, right?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Do you always have, Joe?
I was just saying they're like the basic building blocks, but if you, in any situation, you can always fall back on one. So it's like, at its simplest,
In any situation, you can always fall back on one of those. Do you always have those as your experience? No, of course not, because we live over here in the facts. We live over here in physical form, which is intrinsically has limitations, it has time, it has experiences, and as we are in those experiences, if we focus on the experience and we get into the experience and we tell everybody about our experience, what are we going to do? We're going to relive it, we're going to grow it. We're going to name it and claim it and know it and grow it. We're going to make it bigger in our lives. And sometimes we need to stop and go, wait a minute, the check didn't come when they said it was going to come. Yeah, I kind of wrote some checks on that and took some money out of the account thinking it would be there, but those are facts. What is the truth?
Infinite substance.
That there's infinite substance, that I live in an abundant and prosperous universe, that there cannot be lack and limitation. If there was universal lack and limitation, infinite lack and limitation, what would happen? We wouldn't be here. If there was infinite lack and lack and limitation on a universal level, we would disappear. We would not be here. So that's why I can stand up there every Sunday and say, I know that God is in this place because we are here. People really take a challenge to that. How can you say that we are here means that God is in this place? How does that work? Well, if it wasn't all one, we would not be here. Time and space wouldn't hang together. We wouldn't be able to have this conversation. The very fact that we are here, being able to discuss the infinite absolute presence of the divine, is a statement of proof that the divine is infinite and absolute in its presence. I think I'm brilliant. I really do. I've gotten everybody pretty used to that over the years, but in the beginning, people were like, well, you can't say that. Yes, I can. I can say whatever I want to. I have a microphone.
You can do it even without a microphone.
So when we start looking at ourselves and we start thinking about these qualities, these God qualities, spirit qualities, spiritual adjectives, then in order for an infinite to exist, it must exist in its totality at every point simultaneously, then God, whatever God qualities are, must be at the point of me, then that means that has to be what I am. Whatever God is, I am. Very important concept. It's easy to go, oh wow, look at the sunrise and the full moon and the eclipse and the stars and oh, the love and the joy, and that's all what God is. Okay, what are you? Oh, well, I'm a being working on myself. You know, I have certain limitations in my consciousness, and so I'm trying to open up to that greater experience. No, 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 no. Whatever God is, we are. So if we look up and see that full moon rising, that's who we are, that's what we are. That's why I love to go to the beach. I feel the ocean moving and the waves and the wind coming in, and I can just go there, that is me. Dehydration helps. That is me. I was on a 4-day vision quest, and you go up on a mountain and have no food and no water for 4 days, and truly, I think by the 3rd day you start having your visions because you're so dehydrated. So I think dehydration does help a little bit, but I can sit at the beach for hours and just let go of any sense of separation. Let go of any sense of physical form and just be. Be the twinkle of the sun on the waves, be the movement, be the sound, be the wind, be the sun. I can just be that. And it's so important for us to get in touch with that part of us that is not physical. I have a body, but I am not my body. I have emotions, but I am not my emotions. That's a really good one to get. And I have thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. I am the thinker behind the thought. And I choose my thoughts, I choose my emotions, and I use my body. I use my body as a vehicle to express in physical form. But my thoughts are not physical, my emotions are not physical, most of me is not physical, just this little point. And so when I get caught up in ideas of, gee, I really shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have said that, oh, this was supposed to happen and that didn't happen, and oh, terrible things are going to come. Have you ever gone there?
Yeah.
When I get caught up in that, what I can do is go, no, that's not who I am. That may be what I'm doing, but that's not who I am. Who I am is spirit in form. I am the light. I am the love. I am the energy, the health, the wholeness, the peace, the life, the wisdom. I am infinite. That's who I am. I am abundance and prosperity and joy. That is who I am. This other stuff is just a movie. It's an act. It's a brief moment in eternity. Like Michael said last week, or 2 weeks ago, all we're doing is blinking in this lifetime. And maybe we're blinking millions of times and having millions of lifetimes or different experiences and expressions on different planes of reality. I don't know, but I know that we are not our physical form. We are certainly not our history. We're not our story. We're not our stuff. We are the infinite in presence as us now. And honest to God, if we can glimpse that and grab that, even just a little bit, physical things heal. How many of you were here and heard Roxanne yesterday? She had a damaged heart. They went in to fix it. And the doctor was pissed. Took his gloves off, threw them down, and said, you have the heart of an 18-year-old. Like, why am I wasting my time with you? She had a damaged heart a week before. But because she was busy that week, had all of our practitioners working with her individually and collectively, and opened up to that connection with spirit, the heart healed just like that. So when you can glimpse that, you have healings, you have prosperity and abundance of all kinds, including but not limited to vast amounts of money. You have deals that go through instead of collapse. You are not governed by the law of averages. You have whatever you focus upon collapses into form. And as we open up to that presence of the divine in us, as us, is us, things start to work out. Things start to get better. I think the chapter that we're on is called Reclaiming Your Life. Reclaiming your life. Rebuilding your life. Rebuilding your life. Because we are the ones that built it the way that it is. And what he says is that what we have to do is open up to allow that presence of spirit to be who we are. We need to have God's personality. We need to see the love in everybody. We need to expect the good in everything. We need to open up to that spiritual reality. And when we do that, our life comes back together again very differently then when we look at what's going wrong, when we wake up and we're afraid to come to class because we're afraid there's not going to be enough gas, it's fascinating to me that some people will find a closed gas station and some people will find an open gas station. It is the person looking that determines which gas station they find. People say, you know who has gas? Like, everybody's got gas. Everybody's got, I've had that conversation a number of times today. Everybody's got gas. It's who is looking for gas. And by the way, do you have gas in your car? This was the kicker. Oh yeah, I got half a tank. Well, what are you worrying about?
Might run out.
So when we set our lives up and build a life that reflects a consciousness that is in the facts, that is about pain, lack, bad. I don't know if any of you have ever had those things. But when we build a life based on that, we have to rebuild it. And the first thing to do is to look at, who am I? Am I the person, am I the bad person that has the bad life? Because that's what I got out of the outside God. That I was the bad kid. And that it didn't matter what I did or how good I tried to be, that God was going to eternally be pissed off at me, and that I was going to have to suffer and struggle and be punished for just being who I was. It was a real relief to me to come into this teaching and to find out that there was nothing wrong with me. There's only that which is right with me, that I'm good. In the world of good and bad, I'd rather be good than bad. I'm good, I'm pure, I am perfect, I am spirit. I am alive and well. Everything that I have ever done was the right thing for me to do. Wow. Take a deep breath. Whatever you did was the only thing you could have done. If you could have done anything differently, you would have. And since you didn't, you couldn't. Whatever it is you did was the only thing you could have done. And frankly, if you were to go back in that exact moment with the same tools and understanding that you had, you would do that all over again, because that was a logical outpicturing of your consciousness. It was the effect to your cause. And so when we build a life based on anything that is less than perfect, whole, and complete, then we build a limited life, and it's up to us to rebuild it. And the way that we rebuild it is to first look inside of us and to see, who am I? Who am I? Well, I'm peace and I'm joy and I'm love. Well, that's great, but Ernest says in order to rebuild your life, you've really got to act that way. You can't just put little decorated index cards on your refrigerator and expect that to shift the way that you see yourself. And part of seeing us is to really look at what we think and feel and believe. A lot of people say, well, Barbara, you're just so Pollyanna, and frankly, I pretty much am wanting only the positive because I'm a little tired of the negative after all of these decades. But I also know that there's a time when it's good to look at what are some of the things inside of us that it's time to clear out. Ernest talks about clearing out the storehouse of the subconscious mind. And those of you who understand the subconscious or the subjective, we don't necessarily know what's in there. And I'm not saying that it's all from this lifetime. One of the things I loved about Rob Worgan is how he went for 7 lifetimes, 7 generations previously, and 7 generations to come. And the way I translated that, 7 lifetimes back, or 7 is the number of perfect completion, infinite numbers of lifetimes back could be healed. And that would heal infinite numbers of lifetimes in the future, because this is not science of mind, but I believe that we reincarnate on this plane and on other planes. I don't think we are limited to planet Earth for millions of incarnations, but I think that our expression of being alive continues on in different aspects. I do like this one, and I encourage you to enjoy this Earth while you're here. We came to planet Earth. I think it was the prize, not the booby prize. I think it was the prize, that we won the prize. We got to come to planet Earth and to experience hot and cold and sweet and sour and colors and music and touch and all of these great things. So experience that while you're here. Don't miss out on planet Earth. Jane?
Well, I think that in my case, and probably a lot of people, it depends on how open you are to this. I was reading an article about ghosts, and we had a ghost in one of the houses where I lived when I was a kid, and it breathed, and you could hear the breathing going on. And so I heard it, and then I said, and I didn't want to scare anybody, because I heard this breathing, and I didn't want to frighten them. So I said to my mother, I said, well, don't worry about anything if you hear anything. And she said, oh, you mean the breathing? So that they all heard it, and instantly all the fear that I had from the breathing all just dropped away.
Sure, because you weren't alone.
Well, wasn't alone.
And those people that you trusted agreed with you that it was there, and by their agreement said, don't worry about it. We all know it's there, it's okay.
And so if you're open to it and not fear it, then
But I would also let you know that you still are in charge of your environment. And if there is anyone there, whether they are in corporeal form or not, you can either allow them to stay or you can tell them to go. And so if you have an experience where when we built the Youth and Family Center, the big oak tree actually has Confederate soldiers buried under it. And there were people that were very sensitive that would go over there and say, oh my God, this place is haunted. And I said, well, you know, they don't have to stay, it's okay. So they did some ceremony over there and some drumming and candles and smudging and chanting and telling them to go to the light, you know, and all that stuff. This is not science of mine, but you are always in charge of your environment, no matter what. And if that means that there are ghosts or there are things that you don't want to be there, funny energies, send them away. Just send them away, that's all. You are still in charge.
amazing, yeah.
But when you don't feel like you have the right to send people away, whether they're in form or not, like you're stuck in a relationship that you should have gotten out of years ago, but you stay because you don't feel that you have the right to leave it or to tell that other person to go, then you're creating your life, you're building your life based on a limited premise. And it would serve whoever this fictitious person is that I'm talking about, it would serve them well to go and look at that, bring it up to the light of day and say, oh, is this why I stay in jobs that I don't want? I keep cars that I don't want. I live in a house that I don't want to live in, and I'm in a relationship that I don't want to be in. I keep dogs and cats that I don't want to take care of. Is this why I'm doing that? Wow, well now I'm at choice because it is no longer stored in the subconscious. It's brought up. It's brought up to the light of day, and once it's brought up to the light of day, what can we do with it?
Transform it.
We can transform it, we can let go, we can rebuild it, we can recreate it. One of the ways that we do that is to turn away from what we don't want and to do what? To turn towards, to affirm what we do want. So let's say someone's stuck in a dead-end life because they don't feel like they deserve to have what they want. What could they turn toward? Change your mind about what? How?
Something that was fun,
They
they
could
enjoyed.
They could move towards what they enjoyed. What in this idea of truth could help them with that?
They can embrace the qualities that they already are.
They could embrace the qualities that they already are. We could start off with love. That if love is all that there is, if I am created out of love, and if I am loved, then whatever that love energy is not wishing unloving things on me. It is wishing only the love. It is loving in me, as me, is me, expressing the love, the infinite love, the prosperous love, the joy-filled love that is the only truth that's going on. That's got to be who I am. So why am I, or how am I trying to shut that down by holding on to this idea that says I don't deserve to have what I want, I don't have a voice to speak up, I don't have any power, I don't have any say in my life. Is that what I want to do? No. I want to look at myself as someone who is completely loved and supported by life to where I can choose to have fun. I can choose to do what I want. I can choose to live the life that I want. And that first breakthrough is often amazing for people. I didn't know I had a choice. I didn't know I could do something different. But as long as we're feeling like we're just some miserable sinner on planet Earth and we're never going to make it and all of that stuff, as long as we're feeling that way, then we don't know that we have a choice. And then we start to embrace these greater feelings of power and creation. And we go, wow, not only do I have a choice, but I have the ability to manifest a different life. And sometimes people sabotage that, sometimes people hang in there, sometimes people want a instantaneous miraculous healing, and sometimes it's a process. Often just by wanting the instantaneous miraculous healing, it turns it into a process. And as long as our lives are getting better and better, a little bit better every day, everything is going great. So we are rebuilding our lives. We are embracing the opportunity that we have to create our lives any way that we want. And for most people on the planet, the idea that the gas station that they pick either has or has not gas based on their expectation sounds ridiculous. It sounds absurd that they have anything to do with the outside circumstances that they think are governing their lives. But when they can start opening up to this idea that says, I built it this way based on, well, I heard my mom say it, I heard my dad say it, that's what they said in school. If you knew anyone who lived through the Depression, it was very difficult for those people to let go of that race consciousness of not having, to the point where for their security, they would hold on to everything, every little scrap of paper, because there might be a time when there's nothing. And so what kind of race consciousness have we been put in? Have we been immersed in? Have we grown up in? Have we exposed ourselves in? Certainly to the idea that there are things outside of us. I mean, even the whole languaging of the law of attraction is based in this. The law of attraction is not how it works. But look at how it keys into this idea of duality, and there's something outside of us, there's something that we want, so we're going to get it, we're going to attract it into our lives. That's based on the paradigm that there is anything outside of us, that everything is outside of us, that our money comes from outside of us, our love comes from outside of us, we have to go out and get a job so that we can have what we want, to pay the rent, to live the life, to go to sleep, to wake up, to go to work, to get the money, all that cycle, it's based that everything is outside of us. And so then we jump into this big spiritual awakening. Oh my God, through the power of my thought, I can attach to something like the tractor beam on Star Trek, and I can bring it into my experience. Boom, it's the law of attraction. That's not how it works. But for most people, that was such an eye-opener, an awakening thing, that I have any say at all of what's going on in my life, that it just caught fire around the country. The truth is that whatever it is we focus on inside of our own consciousness collapses into form. That everything, everyone, every experience in our life is simply a reflection of our consciousness and our beliefs. There's nothing to attract because there's no place for it to come from, and there's nothing outside of us. There is only to open up the doorway through which that which we know and believe and think and speak and feel shows up in our lives as physical form. We are doorways from the infinite to physical form. And every time we open up the doorway, stuff pops in. The doorway is, what are we believing? What are we thinking? How are we feeling? And it all comes from how we feel about ourselves. Did anybody have a teacher that told you you weren't smart?
Yes.
Yes.
A sibling that perhaps picked on you and drew blood? There was a time she was bigger than I was. Parents, one of my mother's mantras to me when I was little was, what's wrong with that child? Because I was weird. I was a weird kid. And she would just look at me and say, what's wrong with that child? And so my mantra was, there's something wrong with me. And I was always weird, and I was always different, and I still am. And I like it that way. But there was a big imprint in my consciousness that there was something wrong with me, so that translated to there was something bad inside of me, and that equated to, well, I need to be punished, I can't have what I want, I'm not like those people, there's something wrong with me, there's something bad inside of me. So what is it that you might have picked up along the way? Well, I did this terrible, awful thing, and now I've just got to live with it for the rest of my life. I've got to be punished for it for the rest of my life. No. You did the only thing you could have done. Whatever you did was the exact perfect thing. Not perfect like I like it, but perfect as the logical effect of your cause. It was the exact perfect thing to happen in that moment. And so one of the things that we do when we start getting a different sense of ourselves is we let ourselves off the hook. And one of the cool things of letting ourselves off the hook is then we let everybody else off the hook. So we don't have to be blamers anymore. Do you know people who are blamers? They just blame. This was a neutral event. You don't have to attach blame to it. It's not something that needs to be blamed. No one is attacking you, so you don't have to defend yourself by diverting that attack, that perceived attack, to someone else by blaming them before someone blames you. People like that drive me crazy. And it's amazing how many of my peers are like that. Don't blame. There's nobody to blame. There's nothing wrong. You don't have to blame. And you know, being in committees with people and trying to get things done and just, well, your agreement was you were going to do this. Did you do it? A simple, no, I didn't do it. I chose not to do it. My life got very busy and I felt that that was more important to take care of that than this, and no, I didn't do it. That would be an upfront, integrous answer. Instead, oh no, well this person, you know, I called them. Well, when did you call them? Last night. No. I called them and they didn't give me what I needed to be able to put that together, to have what I said I would have. Why do we live like that? We live like that because we don't have these wonderful qualities of truth embraced within ourselves. We think there's something wrong with us. So that any time that we sabotage ourselves to other people to prove there's something wrong with us, there's something bad about us, then we've got to go through this whole psychological dance. And we build our life based on that. And it looks so normal and reasonable because it is simply an outpicturing of the way we believe it to be. Instead of realizing that if we can start believing it differently, seeing it differently, acting it differently, speaking it differently, then our lives will be different. If we want to feel that presence and that support of spirit, and we start giving it to other people, then we're going to get it ourselves. But if we're just saying, oh, I'm so supportive and I'm so loving and I'm so open to the love and the support of spirit, and then we go around and we trash everybody around us, it's not going to manifest inside of us. Sometimes to be generous requires us to risk. Because when we're not risking, we are fearful of our safety. And so when we are feeling safe and confident inside of ourselves, we can give to someone else. You know that? You know, even if you don't have much, you can give to someone else. And as you give, because we are in a vibrational and reflective universe, we get more of whatever it is we have given away. So if we want to be loved, if we want to feel loved, if we're just afraid that people are going to see our true self, and that the mask is going to come off, and that nobody will like us, and we'll be cast out into the outer darkness, and there will be wailing and gnashing of teeth. All of that was metaphorical, by the way, in the Bible. If we are based on that, then we're going to withhold the little bit of security and safety we think we have, and we're going to need to justify it to ourselves and everyone else by attacking the person that we're not being generous to. When it could have been just generous enough to say, it's okay, take the parking spot. You know, I know that I've been sitting here for 10 minutes, but you don't know that. You think that you pulled up first and that you just saw me, so you think I just pulled up, but that's okay. Because I live in a generous world. I live in an abundant world, universe where there's more than enough for all. Take the parking space. Because I know I'm going to be okay. Take the husband. It's okay. Take him. Fair, great, take him. It's okay. It's gonna be all right. You know, all of the anguish that we could save if we just realized when we were done. It's like, I must be done. This wouldn't have happened if I wasn't done, so I must be done. People come to my office and they say, oh, they left me. And I look at them straight in the eye and say, they did for you what you didn't have the courage to do for yourself. You didn't have the courage to leave when you knew it was time to leave. Well, that's right, I knew 3 years ago I should have left. No, you were lazy, so you made them do it. Now you're mad at them for giving you that gift. No, you don't get to do that. Yeah, and why do we do that? Why do we wait 3 years? Because we are insecure. We don't think that we will be able to have that kind of experience. My God, we're growing, evolving beings. We're going to have better experiences. Better and better and better. It all comes from this idea of what is God? Is God an infinite presence of love that only wants to support Terry? All of God has one desire, to support itself as Terry Harrington. In joy and bliss and happiness and more money than you know what to do with, and in experiencing life on this planet. As you move from this life to greater life, to greater life, to greater life. That's all. And if you get this idea of that kind of a deity, and that that's who you are, and that you are perfect, whole, and complete, that's why I love this thing called life, that we would turn out the lights and light the candle, and I would read to you. You're perfect. You're precious. You're whole. You're complete. You are loved. And people would cry because it was touching that part of them that so much wanted to live over here, but had been conditioned to live over here. And so what we want to do is move ourselves from the fact to the truth. And, you know, I always go to Dragnet, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. We don't want any of the facts, not the facts, none of the facts. What we want to do is we want to live in the truth. So that if someone calls and says, the IRS is auditing you, and we believe that you owe $100,000 in back taxes, then we don't go to the facts. We go to the truth. I am completely supported by all of mathematics. Not only the IRS, who are God beings, connecting with a God being, the only thing that we can demonstrate is more light and more love and more money. I am so supported and always in integrity with who I am and what I do, and whatever needs to happen, whatever papers need to show up, or people, or I am infinitely guided and directed to do, to be, to have, whatever it is I need to do, to be, to have, and all is well. All is well. What kind of an outcome do you think you will get from that instead of the normal outcome when someone gets one of those letters? I said it was a phone call. The IRS will never call you. If you get a phone call saying it's the IRS, it's a scam. Jane.
When my husband was in a nursing home, put him there, all the ladies just fell in love with him. He was a very handsome guy. And you know, I've heard of this before, and a lot of women get jealous and stuff when this happens, but I was so thrilled, you know, when these ladies did that, you know, fell in love with him, and I don't know why, but it just made me so happy. He was kind of really sick, and it just made me really happy that people loved him.
That's wonderful. That's because you were secure and solid in yourself.
Yeah.
You had more than enough love to give, and you were able to be generous, not only to Leon, but to all of those other women.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you benefited from that mindset. If you had hunkered down in your anger and your upset and constricted, you might be dead by now.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, you opened up to say, well, of course you fell in love with Leon. Who wouldn't fall in love with Leon? Even sick, he's great. Of course.
And it was really, they as a result, all the ladies liked me too.
Mm-hmm.
But, and one of the ladies had a car, and she was gonna kidnap Leon, you know. was terrific.
You cannot have less light by sharing a fire. If you take a candle and light another candle from it, the first candle does not diminish. And you cannot have less love by sharing your love. It does not lessen your experience. It only makes it bigger. And so if we can get to that place where we are secure and solid in who we are, I am a being of light. I am a being of love. I come from spirit. I am a spirit being. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. I'm always supported by life. I always have more than I need. My body is a God being and filled with vibrant health and energy. I can create anything that I choose in my experience. If you're coming from that mindset, then no matter what's happening on the outside, that's a fact. And a fact is going to come, and a fact is going to go. It's going to go because it's got a time element to it. You are moving out of time into a timeless space, a timeless consciousness of the truth of who you are. And when you focus on that, that which is not in alignment with it dissipates back into the nothingness from whence it came. And that which is in alignment with who you are, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and what you're saying manifests in your world. You're not bringing it in because there's nothing outside of you. You're not lacking anything that you have to reach out and grab. You have it all within you. You have the entire universe within you. You have the entire cosmos within you. You have way beyond time and space within you. You have more within you than you can even put into words or think about with thoughts. And so if you can look at all of the experiences, all of the facts in your life as temporary, you know, it's like they said in the Bible, it came to pass. It came to pass and not to stay. And when you go through the valley of the shadow of death, you're not going to stop and build a condo. Don't stop. You're going through it. People go, well, why do I have to go through that? Because there's something in your consciousness, probably on a very subconscious, subjective level, that is working its way up to be cleared out. The only reason this is coming up to your awareness is so that you can heal it. Otherwise, you would probably still have it, but you wouldn't notice it. It wouldn't seem wrong. It would just be the way life was. Life is hard. Life is terrible. There's never enough. I always feel guilty. I always feel like I need to hide. Oh my gosh, what if someone finds out who I am? If you're living from that point of view, you just take it as the way life is. And then you come into a teaching like this that says you can have your life any way you want it. And you go, well, why is it terrible today? Well, it's terrible today because there's some kind of a belief system that is fueling that terribleness, and it's bringing it up for you to look at and to heal. So that you can realize that you are at choice, that if you put your focus on the facts, you will demonstrate more of the facts. If you put your focus on the truth, you will open up to transcend that into a greater reality. Transcendence transmutes. It does not rectify. So you can have a problem that it just feels like there's no way out. There's no answer to this. The doctors have a picture of it. They said that the bottom half of my heart is damaged. They're going to have to try to fix it. They're going to have to put things in it and burn it and do stuff to it. There's no way out of that until you open up to this greater idea that there is a health and a wholeness that is a greater reality than any kind of disease or limitation. That is the truth that I have always been. It is the energy that actually made up the cells of my heart. It will always be the truth. And that will transcend the experience. Transcendence transmutes. It changes the nature of it. It doesn't rectify it. It doesn't fix it. This isn't a teaching to work a deal with the divine. Some people still try to do that. Well, I'm going to work a deal here. It's not like that. We're not trying to rectify two opposites. We are changing the nature of the experience. To go from the fact that was created out of some kind of a sense of limitation and lack or guilt or whatever, and to raise it up to a greater reality, and that will heal instantly. Ernest said, truth known demonstrates instantly. One of my favorite quotes. Truth known demonstrates instantly. So our work is to know the truth. And sometimes I think we're at the gym where we lift up a weight and we put it down, and we lift it up and we put it down, and the repetitions or the reps for the gym people are making us stronger. And it's not, no pain, no gain, don't get me wrong. But as we have something come up, we notice it, we heal it, we let it go, our essence has shifted, then we no longer have room within us for those lower vibrations. So something else comes up. We notice it, we shift it, we let it go, we've changed the essence of our experience of ourselves. There's no longer any room for those lower vibrations. And so things come up. And people say, well, I just did this last year. Well, it's coming up at a deeper level, at a greater level, to be shifted, to be released. When we, if we could all live in the truth, then we would be sainted, like Saint Teresa of Calcutta. We would be. So our job is to kind of go back to it as much as possible. And what happens to bring our awareness to going back to it, we go away from it. And it's usually with freak out and drama and maybe some yelling and things like that, some sleepless nights until we go, wait a minute, go back to the truth. Well, how in the world is that going to fix this? This is a real problem. No, there are no real problems. Go back to the truth. Go back to the truth. If there is only love, if I am created out of love, if I'm in a universe of love, then the universe loving as me can only love. And that means that nothing unloving can exist. Think about that. If there's only love, if I am love, if I live in a universe of love, if the universe is loving as me, then nothing unloving in my experience can exist. It's deep. It's really deep. And when we go back to the truth, then things change. And the problem that was insurmountable now is gone. And you've seen that in your life, but because we live in a logical and sequential time and space continuum, by the time we get to the other side of the problem, it all makes sense. Oh, well, of course. Well, if I could have only known that, I wouldn't have freaked out so much. The only reason it all worked out, and now it makes perfect sense, is that you shifted the energy in the middle of the event. You rebuilt your life in that moment into the life that you wanted to live, into the life that you really wanted to live. A life of joy, a life of health, of wholeness, of peace, of beauty, of bliss, of being in your genius, of doing what you want to do. That's the life that you get to live. And all of life, the universe, time and space, everything that is, will come together to support itself as you in focusing on that, on this side of the line. Now you can create all kinds of drama and pain on the other side of the line, but it's not eternal. I mean, eventually your body's going to die and you're going to wake up in some other reality, and everybody who starts crossing over is, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so wonderful. Abraham says if we knew what dying was like, we'd all just go jump off the bridge over 40. We'd just do that. So we would go back to our original state of love and joy and bliss. So even if it quote unquote kills us in this lifetime, it's not permanent. The things that are permanent are love, life, light, joy, peace, power, beauty, in this plane or in others. I'm very interested to see what beauty looks like outside of time and space.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Do you touch beauty? Is it just an energy that's called beauty? I think it's just going to be really cool. So those things last forever. And if you can take a temporary problem, no matter how great, and bring it into alignment with these ideas of truth, bring yourself into alignment with these ideas of truth, that temporary problem will shift. People will call it an instantaneous healing. It's a miracle, hallelujah. Other people will say, well, that was gonna happen all along, it's a coincidence. And other people will say, wow, you put some good work in that one, it took a while, but you shifted it, and it all worked out. Who cares what they call it? You have the ability to recreate your life, to rebuild your life any way that you want. Once you bring your consciousness back into alignment with the truth. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna do a little process. We are rolling. So I have a little process for you. And what I want to do is take 2 and pass it. I want to take a little bit of time to go over this, and then if you want to go over it more in depth, take 2 and pass it. At home, you're welcome to do that. You know, you may not want to just spill your guts here in class, but you may want to do that at home.
Oh, 2 sets of,
Take 2 pages.
2 pages.
2 pages. And this is an exercise I've used for years and years, just to let you start looking at some of the ideas that you may be holding. And I know it's a misnomer in that if it's a hidden belief, how are you supposed to know what it is if it's hidden? But look at some of the ones that may be a little bit, okay, somebody doesn't have 2 pages. 2 pages.
1 through 4 and 5 through 9.
Does everybody have 2 pages and they say 2 different things on the
Yeah,
top, right?
1 through 4 and 5 through 9.
I can't hear you, Judy.
1 through 4 and 5 through 9.
So 1,
There's 9. 9.
Great. Okay. Stay with us, Jane.
Miracle, my own miracle. I didn't have, I just had 2 of the same page, and then now I looked, and it's 2 different pages, and I don't know how.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. So this just gives us an opportunity to look at some of the ideas we may have picked up along the way. Even if we have spent years in therapy, even if we have gone to Tony Robbins seminars and done week-long vision quests and sweat lodges and the dance. What is the dance? The dances that they do.
Nervous?
The wave? No, the dance where they lean back from the pole. I know people who do the dance.
Sunday.
The May
The
Day.
Sundance, yeah.
Type of dance.
Yeah, where they get a piece of bone pierced through their pectoral muscles, and on the 3rd day of dancing, they pull it free.
Oh.
Yeah, and by then they don't care. So even if you've done a lot of work on yourself, my guess is that you still have some things that are not serving you, and you would be better off releasing. And so without getting into a lot of the drama and the trauma and the story of it all, I want us just to take a minute and look at some of these things to see if we're hanging out in the fact, which we can let go of, or in the truth. So, you know, just a general all-around idea of beliefs about childhood that may still be operating in your awareness. What do you think something like that might be?
You're not good enough.
Not good enough. Yeah,
Not worthy.
not worthy. What else?
you don't deserve.
You don't deserve it. And how do you think not good enough, not worthy, and don't deserve it, how do you think that might manifest in your world? In lack. So we might even want to jump backwards and say, if you have any kind of lack at all in your life, you have some kind of belief that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, and that you don't deserve it. I know you probably have paid good money to people to get that out of you. But if it was really out, you would not have any lack. And I know people that appear to not have a lot of material possessions that do not have lack. So don't twist it around. If you feel like you don't have, that you have lack, that you don't have enough time, you don't have enough energy, you don't have enough opportunity, you don't have enough chances, you don't have enough money, whatever it is that your lack may be wrapped around, that comes from a belief in not being good enough, not being worthy, and not deserving. So, rather than wallow in your newfound revelation, what might you do? Where is not being good enough, not being worthy, and not having enough?
Well, you said lack is what it associates with.
Right, so it would be over on fact.
Oh, that.
It would be a fact. The universe is not based on an essence level of not being good enough. The sunrise does not come up and feel unworthy. The ocean is not undeserving. You know, that little creek out there, that little baby creek out there will take our parking lot in a heartbeat and not blink about it.
Yeah, that's right.
So those things are not verities of life. Verities of life would be what?
The love, the energy, the health.
The love, the energy, the health. So let's say I'm experiencing some kind of lack. Give me an example.
Money.
I just don't seem to have enough money. I have more month than the money. Things just don't go as far as I would like them to go. So I'm looking at my life in the fact that the money doesn't seem to be there. Where do I want to go in consciousness? To take myself back to the truth. I would do what?
No abundance, no
And
wealth.
what does that mean, no abundance and no wealth? Where would I know wealth?
And spirits.
Be grateful for what you already have.
Be grateful for what you already have, yes, but where would I know wealth?
Look through
Be
nature.
true, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nature.
nature.
I always go to, I
Ah.
am thankful, and I am thankful for what's presented to me, and I know that it will be enough, and I'm just grateful that I welcome this today.
Wonderful. I would recommend that you go into a feeling of having value within yourself. That I am precious, I am important, I am valuable, I have value. I have great value in the scheme of things. And yes, you want to be open, you want to be grateful, you want to affirm that you have opulence and abundance. But if you are feeling like you don't deserve it, that there's something intrinsically and inherently wrong with you, and you can affirm till you're blue in the face, and you may demonstrate, but you will not move into a sense of wealth. That comes from a sense of value inside of yourself. I have value, I am valuable. There's a weird little saying that drives me a little crazy because it's so dualistic, but the gist is that whatever God is, God could not be complete without you. And I understand the meaning of that if I can get beyond the barfing dualistic languaging, that in an infinity, the infinity cannot exist without you. That you are the missing link, the last piece that makes God whole, if you want to use that language, and that's why I don't say things like that. But the feeling is that I am important, I am valuable, I am deserving, I have rights, I have a right to have just as much as someone else does. There's nothing better about them than me. And that means that I don't have to read more books and go to more workshops and do more stuff. It's already here. All of that great work is about opening up to the intrinsic value that I already have, not trying to make myself have value. And when you start to feel important, when you start to feel like somebody, money finds you. Because money is actually just demonstrating itself through a greater opening that you have between the infinite and you. Between spirit manifesting itself through you. As you feel better about yourself, as you feel more loved and more loving and more safe and more special, then more comes into your world because you have opened up to more of those attributes of spirit. And sometimes, that's a spider. Someone should help that one out, and that might be a wolf spider.
Yeah.
Usually, I don't let them live.
Oh, really?
Come on.
Not wolf spiders.
That's not a wolf spider?
No, there's junk color. Don't the wolf spider have a white, aren't they black with white? No, they're brown. Oh, they're brown
Right in the corner of the room.
and fuzzy. Oh, hello.
Yeah, crickets can stay. There you go. We've had black widow spiders and brown recluse spiders and wolf spiders all in this building. So unless it's a daddy long legs, I'm not prone to letting it continue experiencing life.
But if we were in this state of mind, how could
I know, those are things that pull me out of my feeling of oneness and safety, and although I'm happy to let crickets hop around here.
Yeah, but that's.
So, you're absolutely correct.
But what's so funny is daddy long-legs are more poisonous than all of them.
Right, but they can't bite us. Keep their poison to themselves.
What's the other one?
A daddy long leg?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Really, eat some stink bugs, please. So what we want to do is we want to develop the awareness to notice. I have a belief still operating from childhood that says I'm not as good as other people. I don't deserve to have things. I can't speak up. You know, we talk about speaking our word, and for some people that is very difficult to claim what is that they choose to have a voice, to give energy and power into their creations. Sometimes that's very difficult for people because they had the experience of being seen and not heard. Don't cry, or I'll give you something to cry about, that kind of thing. And so that can be operating from childhood. How about some of the beliefs about your career? Joe.
You have to work really hard, like really hard to get money, and if you want to be 7 figures, or there's few and very few people get there.
So you have to work really hard, really hard to get money. And if you want to get up to 7 figures, very few people get there. Does anyone get there?
Yeah.
Yes. Is there any difference between them and you? No, that's an important step. So when we find ourselves working really hard to get money, or we find people criticizing how much money we make, you may have found that happen in your life. There's that opportunity to go from, what would be the fact of that, Joe? You have to work really hard to get money, and only the few get to the 7 figures? What would the fact of that be?
It's lack. I mean, there's not enough to go around.
Lack, struggle, that it's hard. You said hard, and then you said really hard. So there's a belief that you have to really work hard, that there's struggle, that there's lack. And what would be the truth of that?
There's infinite. There's abundance. There's
Ease.
ease and flow.
Ease and flow. I just don't think that God is sweating the sunrise. I don't think that the rainbow thinks, can I make it? Can I make it? I think that there is a natural order of the outpicturing of what some people call success, which would be the 7 figures. Some people would think that that's a pittance. So there's a natural order of the unfoldment of that level of living. And there are plenty of people in the world who make that and much more. And that is just the normal experience of life. So if you can move into this idea that the universe supports me instead of I have to work really, really, really hard, I have this vision that doors open before me, my way is made clear, and I move forward with ease and grace. Not that it's easy, but I move forward with ease. So I'm not saying that you need to bail just because things aren't easy like you think they should be. You shouldn't have to work up a sweat. I have found in my life I've worked up plenty of sweats and enjoyed the creative process in doing that. So what else might be beliefs about career?
You must work a 9-to-5 job for the rest of your life, to retire at 65.
So you have to work a 9-to-5 job for the rest of your life to retire at 65, and once you retire, you smiled. What does that mean?
That you then get to relax and enjoy your life.
So you then get to enjoy your life. You
Yeah.
can't enjoy your life until you retire.
Yes.
So what would the truth of that be?
Enjoy your life.
Enjoy right now.
Let her find it.
That life is enjoyable at all times.
It is enjoyable, but are you enjoying it?
Oh, yeah. I am, but I.
You see how you pushed it away? Life is enjoyable. There's a possibility out there for some person that life is enjoyable. But what about for April?
Oh, yeah.
Well, how does it sound?
Life is amazing.
My life.
My life is amazing.
I enjoy my life now.
I enjoy my life.
And then find things to enjoy. Aren't you enjoying being in this class? Yeah, this is great. I enjoy my life right now, and then find things to be grateful for, find things that you're enjoying, enjoy things that you haven't enjoyed in the past. Enjoy them. If you're going to be in the kitchen scrubbing a pot, enjoy it or get out of the kitchen, one or the other. Be happy or do something else. And you can be happy doing anything, so don't wait until you're 65 to decide to be happy. Be happy now. Enjoy your life now. Find something to enjoy in your life right now. And then that takes you out of the fact into the truth. And you may work a 9-to-5, and you may retire at 65, but you are enjoying your life all the way through it instead of waiting for that sense of joy. If you're doing what you love to do, if you're in your genius, if you're creative and passionate about a 9-to-5 job, a 9-to-5 job is great. They don't have to be a death sentence or a jail term.
I already left my 9-to-5 job, so I'm good.
And you may find another one.
Yeah.
Especially if you have that level of heat on 9-to-5. We are creative beings, creating every experience in our life right now. I loved it when my friend David Bruner walked out on stage in Chicago at a very big deal Science of Mind conference where I took my fur. Everyone was dressed to the nines, and he was one of the evening speakers, which are the hotshot speakers. He's the minister in San Jose, and he walked out with an Abercrombie and Finch faded T-shirt and jeans with holes in them, and a cup of coffee. And he kind of sauntered out, and everyone is like, oh. And he looked around the room to these hundreds of people, and he said, what you are thinking about me right now is creating something in your life. What you are thinking about me right now is creating something in your life. So we become very mindful about everything that we are thinking about that is out of the truth, including 9-to-5 jobs. Who else has something about a career? Terry.
That I didn't need one. I mean, this is my parents telling me, because I needed to have a man in my life. And I would help him with his career.
Oh, so you didn't get to have one of your own. You had Bruce's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
What might you have done?
Well, what I did do, after Bruce passed, I mean, I took over the business and ran it.
You ran it, you had 35 employees and you were 40 employees, I stand corrected, 40 employees, and you were hot stuff in Asheville.
Yes.
You still are hot stuff, Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, good for you. So what do you take out of that?
That I am important, that I am capable, because I didn't think I was capable.
Right, that you can do anything.
Right.
You can do anything. Yes.
I walked on fire.
Yeah, you want to hang fire. Good for you, good for you. Good, good. I still create people coming in, looking at me going, is the pastor in? Because obviously it must be a man.
In a suit.
Really, really. So beliefs about relationships. Beliefs that are still operating in your life about relationships.
I have to earn love.
I have to earn love.
Earn it.
Uh-huh. You look sad.
Well, it's not like it's a given.
Right, but that, the expression that you just had on
Well,
your
it's
face was
surprising.
sad.
It's surprising that I wrote that down.
Mhm. Or you have to buy love.
No.
No, you have to earn it.
Earn it.
You have to earn
Have
love.
to be something more than just the way I am.
So I have to change.
Well,
Okay, I have to earn it.
Earn it.
So I have to earn love is on the fact sheet. I don't think that the tide earns the right
No.
to rise and fall. So what is the truth?
I have to just accept love.
Okay, I have to just accept love. So bring it in a little bit more clearly.
I am love.
I am
I
love,
am love.
and I am loved. Just
I
the
am
way I am.
lovable.
I am lovable
Yes.
when I earn love.
No, just as it is, I am love and I am lovable.
I am lovable, just as is. Good, good, good. Who else? Sandy, let me just get a drink of water.
This might be humorous, but it wasn't at the time. And I was always told by my parents, you just haven't been with the right man.
Oh, that's a double-edged sword then.
So how does that manifest in your life today?
Well, after I responded back to my father, you haven't either. This went on a long time. Love is, I am love, love is perfect.
So the fact was,
The
what?
fact was that I actually was engaged 3 different times and never walked down the aisle until,
The fact inside of you, when you heard your father say, you just haven't been with the right man, when you knew there was no way that it was a man,
something was wrong with me.
that there's something wrong with me, and that affects your relationships today?
No,
Okay,
no.
good, good.
I-
Even with your relationship with your brother? Does it have to do with the fact that you're gay?
No, because he is too.
Okay, good, good, good.
I don't know what that is, honestly.
Well, we don't need to go there.
No.
So what is the truth of that?
The truth of that is, I can love who I want, and I do love who I want.
Yeah.
And I have a partner that walks beside me, not in front of me or behind me.
And I am perfect just the way I am.
That's right.
Yes. I am perfect just the way I am. I am blessed just the way I am.
Absolutely.
Exactly, exactly. Good, good, good. Do you see how we're looking at a belief, seeing how it operates, getting some, do you see how I pushed her to get a deeper feeling than just the circumstances? I wanted the feeling that went with that there's something wrong with me, and how we take that and flip it into, there's only that which is right with me. I'm perfect just the way I am. I'm blessed just the way that I am. I get to love whoever I want. I get to live my life the way that I want to live it. Wonderful. And that changes how we feel inside of ourselves, which changes the demonstrations in our lives.
Nobody else can help me get there like you can. Thank you.
Who else has a belief about relationships?
Me.
Darcy. And then
I'm Rachel.
Rachel, thank you.
I think I must have some feelings still about not being worthy of a relationship because I've been without one for a long time and I'm fearful of them now.
What are you afraid of?
I guess not being accepted for who I am. It
That you'll
seems
have
that,
to change?
pardon me?
That you will have to change?
No, just not being accepted the way I am because in the past it seemed like the relationships that I got involved in, the guys started to try and change me after we got involved in the relationship, or I found out things about them afterwards that were deceitful, and so there's some fear there, I guess. You know, and I've worked a really long time on loving myself because I knew until I loved myself, I couldn't really love somebody else fully. But there's still a certain amount of fear involved in being involved in a relationship.
Okay, so fear is always temporary. It's always a fact. What would the truth of that be?
Meet the person that loves and accepts me for who I am, and
So let's take it out of secondary causation of meet the person and take it back to just the truth. The truth is what?
that I'm a lovable human being, and
Let's just leave it there.
okay.
I'm lovable. You can be in a wonderful relationship whether anybody else is around or not. And you can be in a wonderful relationship with anybody if you are clear about your own love, because all you're doing is bouncing love off of somebody else. It's like a mirror. You bounce a love off anybody.
Right, but I want a love relationship with a man, and I haven't had that in a really long time, and I wonder what it is that I'm doing to prevent well, I guess it's the fear.
So I would go in a little deeper to I'm safe, being open. I'm safe, being intimate.
Yeah, you know, a lot of it has to do with the way my mother talked about relationships when I was a young girl, and it was always you can't trust, and they only want one thing, and so I think some of those things are still inside of me that need to get weeded out.
Good.
And know that, you know, it doesn't have to be that way just because that was the way it was for my mother.
So I am safe to love. Love is safe. How about just that? Love is safe.
I mean, I find it in all areas of my life. I have no problems, you know, loving people, but when it comes to a relationship like that, it's like,
I'm safe in an intimate relationship.
okay, all right, that's what we'll do.
Yeah. Work on that. See what comes up.
Okay, well, I keep visioning somebody, you know, the person I want to be with. I know they're gonna show up, it just hasn't happened yet.
I called John in from Australia, and I was married. I remember I went outside once and looked at the sky and said, if you're out there, you better come, and you better come quick. 2 weeks later, he walked into my office.
Oh, so that's what I need to do?
Well, that's what
You
I
better
do.
come.
Sharon,
Hey!
tips. Rachel.
I was raised to believe that children should be obedient, and now I have a mini strong-willed me, so do your magic, Barbara. And I'm not saying that I think that belief is true. It's hard for me to separate myself and my relationship with my child from that for some reason.
Well, I think every parent wants their child to be obedient. So you're not that unusual. I think if it comes from a sense of insecurity on your part, that you're not comfortable enough in your own skin, and you can't let them be in their skin, that might be where to work.
Okay.
I'm free to be me.
Yeah, I think I must feel like I'm gonna, as if his outcome is somehow gonna reflect on me. I don't know.
Normal parent neuroses.
Okay.
Look at me, my kid made straight A's. Has nothing to do with me. Same way as, look at me, my kid just went into juvie. Has nothing to do with you. So I'm free to be me.
Okay.
And then as you're more comfortable about who you are, you can be more comfortable with other people. My guess is it's not just your child that you want to obey you.
Pretty much I've accepted that other people don't.
Right, but you want them to.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called controlling.
Yes, I'm very controlling.
Exactly. And that comes from insecurity. People are controlling because they're insecure. I'm safe to be me. No matter what other people do, I'm still safe to be me. Or just I'm safe. Just narrow it in. Because the universe loves and supports me. God loves and supports me. Spirit loves and supports me. However you want to wrap your head around it. When people are going into surgery, and I see them right before they go in, I always tell them that there's an angel in the bed with them, wrapping its wings around them and holding them close until they come out. And that's a really good visual for someone to go into surgery on. So whatever it is that you can wrap your head around, that has you be safe. It has you be free. Usually when we're kids and we're free, we're not safe. That's the big choice, freedom or safety. That's what people choose. That's why Janine Fisher, a year ago, when we started doing our treatment for freedom, sold her house and everything that she owned and went on a drive-about, and then she got that big RV that she parked out here this summer.
Yeah.
And she said, I chose freedom, period. I just chose freedom. I'm not gonna choose safety anymore. So to be free and safe is the thing, but our safety always comes from within. Good, good, good. Okay, beliefs about my body. We're not gonna get through them all. Work on them during the week, and we'll pick them back up next week. So what are some beliefs about your body?
It ages.
That it ages, your body ages. What else? Oh, okay, so let's have aging. What is the truth of that?
That we're eternal.
I'm eternal.
Eternal.
So I don't like the negatives, but it would be I'm ageless, I'm timeless. And you said that your body hurts. So what is the truth of that? I don't believe that we live in a hurting universe.
My body is perfect. It's pain-free.
And I don't like the free part. So what is pain-free?
It's pain-free. Ease.
Ease.
Comfort.
Comfort. My body is comfortable. I like my body is strong. My body is flexible. My body is young. My body is filled with energy. My body is looking good. And I tell my body that all the time. Not even every day. I tell it all the time how great my body is. And my body listens.
I thank my body.
Good.
Because you suggested it once.
Yes. Thank, I think it was your knee. Thank that knee.
Yeah.
Yes. Good for you. Who else about your body? Anybody got stuff on looks?
Yes.
So what belief about your body might be operating now?
I'm not sure. You said looks. so-
Yeah.
Oh, about
whether or not I feel or look attractive
So do you?
most of the time, not all of the time.
Do you think that that may tie into some of your stuff about relationships?
Yes, very definitely. Yes, very definitely.
Because the truth is that you're beautiful. Period.
I had this competition growing up with my sister when I was younger, and I think a lot of that is still affecting me because she was everything that my parents seemed to want, and I was the other person.
The better person.
Who's happier? Who's happier today?
Me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
There you are.
the truth is that you're beautiful. You may not look like a model. That's not a measurement of beauty. That's oftentimes a measurement of neuroses. But you're beautiful. Period.
I feel sometimes like, because I used to hold a lot of anger, that I have an angry look on my face. And I've worked so hard to be happy. I feel like I'm happy most of the time now, but I wonder sometimes if I still have that hard look about my face that I used to have.
I haven't seen it, and I've known
You
you
haven't?
for 8 years.
Okay, so it must just be my own neuroses then.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about neurotic thoughts that don't help. And where they came from, just to help us get an awareness of them and how to flip them. And how to live into this idea that says I'm beautiful.
Well, I worked in an environment that was really challenging, and I challenged myself to do more, be really, really successful in my job, and I found in some ways that that made me really hard, because I worked twice as hard, I would work longer hours, I would, although I found out I was a very resourceful individual, that, you know, I could make things happen because I wanted to make them happen, and I found a way to be successful. But I feel like a lot of that old stuff, I felt like for the longest time it made my looks look really hard or angry or unapproachable or that kind of thing.
Okay, and are you doing that now?
No, I'm not struggling like I used to
You're
struggle.
doing more like April is saying about enjoying the day as it comes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm a lot more in the flow now
And about what Terry is saying about realizing that you're resourceful and you can do anything.
yeah,
And
trusting.
all of that reflects in your face.
Okay.
I am beautiful.
I tell myself that every day, but I don't always buy into it.
Tell yourself that when you look in the mirror.
I do.
Mirror.
I do that in the morning. I smile and I tell myself how beautiful I am today.
Well, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to smile and put on pretty. Just I'm beautiful. That's why I love the mirror right outside of your shower. Remember, was that last week?
Mhm.
Naked, buck naked. Thank you, body. I'm beautiful, I'm healthy, I'm strong.
I mean, I've grown so much. I guess they're just still residual pieces that come up every once in a while.
Well, yeah, and I'm safe. I think much of it comes to safety. I'm safe, I'm loved, everything's okay. To take us back away from the problem into the truth. And then we find true loves and get married. And money shows up and jobs show up and things open up. And life is good.
Well, I've added into my treatments every day that this is my time now. I deserve to be here and I add value to the world.
Yes, yes.
So I'm saying that out loud daily
Good.
and affirming it, so.
And I would recommend, I don't want to get too wooey-wooey, that as you say that, you let something embrace you. You let yourself be held.
I use that visualization of angel wings around me. I use that when I'm feeling really vulnerable or down or
But just every day, let yourself be held.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's something I didn't have growing up, so,
okay. See how important that is?
yeah, very.
Good, good. One more about health. Oh, who had their hand up? Nobody. One more about health. Terry.
I tell my body that every cell in my body is whole and healthy. And I have had no recurrence of anything.
Yeah, of course.
And I just know that it's not going to
Right. We have people in this center who have had less than a 5% survival chance many, many years ago. We have someone in our center that elected not to go the medical route, that had a doctor leave on their answer machine. If you don't come in and do this, you'll be dead in 3 months. Many, many years ago. The body listens. And just because something is happening in the fact side doesn't mean that it has to stay. You were born to heal. The body listens to you. Our bodies will change. The body of our affairs will change. Change just like that. Money comes and goes, people come and go, opportunities come and go, circumstances come and go. They change over and over and over again based on what we are thinking. But where do those thoughts come from? They come from beliefs, and they often come from unconscious things. Things that we heard our parents say, things that we picked up around our socioeconomic group, our cultural group, our religion, whatever it is. Things that we brought into our life and didn't even stop to think about whether or not they were true. Those are hidden beliefs, just because we haven't looked at them yet. So this week, go over your questions and just scope yourself out. What step is that, to take a fearless and moral inventory? Do a step 4 on yourself. Check yourself out and see what you're holding on to that is still manifesting less than total joy, total bliss, total happiness in your life. Okay? Anything else? Great, take out what you're gonna give. Hold it in your hands. Turn the air off because now I'm freezing. Which is so unusual for me. It is. And to all of you watching on the internet, thank you for going to our Donate Now button and clicking on PayPal so that you too can contribute to this class and this center. And as we hold our gift close to our hearts, I am so grateful for the opportunity to be reminded of who we are, for the opportunity to go from the condition to the truth, from the effect to the cause, for the opportunity to go back into our natural state, which is a spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth. And I know that as we come together this night and give our gift, that amazing essence of spirit goes with our giving. I see it in my mind's eye as a golden light that fills up this room, from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. This air is rich and blessed with God as us. Every time we give a gift, that which we are goes with our giving. And so that which we are permeates this center, fills up the walls, touches the bank account, the bills, the people, and goes on out into the world to take that energy that we are with it. I know that we all come together this night to make this center all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And so it is.
So it is.
And just breathe it in this idea of our value, that each one of us is precious, each one of us is perfect, each one of us is safe in this experience called life, that we were created out of abundance and joy, and we are meant to live the good life. Just breathe that in, that you were created to experience life more fully than ever before, to experience more joy, more happiness, more health, more love. That is our job. And so right here and right now, I know that everything in these baskets is blessed. That as we give, we receive. That spiritual law has taken our gift, has multiplied it, and brought it back into our experience. So we open up our minds to know that God has ways of giving us money we've never even dreamed of yet. We open up our hearts to know that we deserve to be blessed and rich in this life. And then we get ready to accept all of the bounty and the blessings of this life. We enjoy it. We appreciate it. We are grateful for it. So knowing that the room is full, knowing that we cannot keep it contained, that it goes on out, that energy that we are, to touch every being on this planet and to awaken us all, we simply let it go in deep gratitude. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I love you guys.